noticed that no one ever really talks about menopause? Well, I mean, sure, there's the universal signal of a hot flash, that, and then some smart aleck decides to turn on a fan. But what you really need is some sympathetic understanding and, of course, relief. You have come to the right place. I'm Nancy J., and I am going to give you plenty of sympathetic understanding. In fact, think of me as your menopause girlfriend. As far as the relief is concerned, well, we together are going to learn that there is actually relief in store without artificial hormones, those pellets, things that just aren't natural. In fact, I was thinking about this. Maybe together, girlfriend, we can change going through the change. Okay, so get something to drink here because we've got someone over here on the hot seat. Haha. Get it? Hot seat. Maridee Gammons, I am so glad to have you here. You are going to be 61
Yes, ma'am.
this year.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're a twin.
Yes.
Which means this is a double whammy for you, I guess, when it comes to menopause.
Yes.
Okay. I know you've had some success with a new natural product. We're going to talk about that. But before we get to the good stuff, let's talk about how we learned about menopause as kids. Did your mom talk to you and your sister about it? I just remember being told about periods, but not so much about what comes later.
Mom talked to us about what, the periods and then on to menopause. But unfortunately, both Grandma and Mom never had to go through it because they both had hysterectomies. So as teenagers and as young women, after we've, had our kids and later on, we just go, okay, what we have nothing to rely on. We have no, nothing to bounce back on because both Mom and Grandma had, hysterectomy. So,
and I can relate to that. My mother did as well. So I didn't ever know what it was going to mean.
Right.
So where did you get your information back then, or did you even care at that when you were younger?
No, younger. It was when I after I had my children. It was I'd say about 10 years ago that I started having horrific, monthly cramps, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've already gone through this. I've already done that with my kids. I'm like, what the heck? I found out that I was anemic, and through that process is when I started figuring out. And the doctor told me, well, you're in perimenopause, whatever that means.
Right. And you were about 50.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I started doing some research, and then it wasn't until about 6 months ago, I went to the doctors to have my blood work done because I was really going, I need to figure out something homeopathically that I want to take that's going to help me with what I'm going through. Little did I know that at the age of 58, I was considered a late bloomer. That's when I just started my menopause season. And so I'm like, how long can this last?
That's funny. Well, and it's interesting because I did a little research, and Google everything. And here's what happens. I think women, we're going to Google these things, and we're not going to know what works or what doesn't,
Right.
which is why I'm so glad you're here to be able to,
Right.
to help us with that. But I Googled, I just went with menopause symptoms. I came up, someone said, there are 34 symptoms of
34?
menopause. 34. I mean, it goes everything from hot flashes to burning tongue, incontinence, mood swings, vaginal dryness, night sweats. So someone's going to have at least one out of those 34.
Yes.
So what were your biggest symptoms that you knew there was something wrong?
My lack of energy. I've always had a lot of energy. I was able to, I walk 2 to 3 miles a day, and so I just noticed that I was getting tired faster. I'm like, well, this is ridiculous. I've had 3 cups of coffee throughout the day, and I'm thinking, okay. And caffeine is one. I only can take 1 cup of caffeine for the whole day. But then and night sweats, having to change your clothes more than once. It was like, okay, this is getting really old.
Okay.
And so I started doing some just homeopathic research on what's good for that, and I was looking into hormone replacement.
Gynecologists seem to want to go in that direction.
Yes, I talked to a girlfriend, said that how, and then I had other girlfriends saying, "Hey, what about the pellets?" I'm like, okay, the fact that I want to put something in my,
I think of a rabbit with pellets.
I was so it was through that process
that you found something that works. What about the men in your life? I mean, you had a son, you had daughters, and your sister and husband. So, I mean, were they sympathetic? Did they understand? Could you even talk to them about it?
Oh, my husband's amazing on this part.
Oh, okay.
He was very understanding. Because there's one thing that, I know one of the biggest issues that I had was my sex drive. It left the state, literally. I'm like, what the heck? I moved from California and it gone. I
You thought you left it on the West. I left my
Coast.
sex drive in San Francisco.
I'm like, what the heck? It was so predominant, and then all of a sudden it just died.
Okay.
And that was one of the biggest issues. I'm like, how do I get that back? And I went and I started taking a product that, I thought, okay, but it didn't do anything. And God bless my husband. He was so...
I think you're lucky there.
Understanding. Yeah, I'm very lucky. He was understanding, and to the point where it's like, I feel horrible because I can't do anything. I don't want to do anything. I have no desire to do anything.
Your sister, however, now, I've always heard twins feel the same things. Mm-hmm. So was she going through the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
So at least you had her to bounce
talk about
off
it. She
of.
goes, yeah, Maridee, what is this? She goes, and the other thing, what's the bloating? We have never had a belly in our lives, neither one of us, ever.
That is one of the 34 things, by
I'm
the
like,
way.
what the heck is this thing? And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Wow.
And so we've tried everything to try to, relieve that.
So with your daughters then,
Mm-hmm.
were you able to talk to them about this so that they would know something? Because now you haven't had a hysterectomy. This is new ground for them.
My oldest, she's like, oh, swell, this is what I get to look forward to. Wonderful.
See?
Yeah.
Maridee, why is it so hard to talk about this though? I mean, even to our friends. I mean, I have cramps or I do, but we just don't ever really say, oh well. Because it's that universal sign again. That's all we do with each other.
think it's the connotation of what it involves. People think of it as a mess and thinking
the end of
life, or just the, what do you call it, a woman's thing, And I'm like,
she's going through the change
or whatever,
right.
And it's like, no, it's something that we can all go through that we don't have to be ashamed of. We don't, because every woman's going to experience it one way or another.
Every woman in the world.
It's not just, Caucasian women, Hispanic women, African American. It's women across the board. And so, I'm not afraid to talk about it,
Okay. Because you're not afraid to talk about it, though, you were able to actually find some relief because you talked about it to some of your doctors, correct?
Right. And to men. There was a male doctor. It wasn't even a female doctor.
So what were some of the doctors' responses when you wanted to do something maybe a little different? What were they recommending to you before you found the good one?
Well, personally, it was more of the fact, I'm like, what the heck I don't want to have a DNC. I don't have to have I don't have to have what do you call that? It was like the mesh. And then they were talking about hormone replacement and all this, and I didn't want to do anything that wasn't natural. Mm-hmm. I wanted a natural product. I'm not one to do synthetics. So
how in the world did you find a natural product that works for you? Did you have to try several?
Well, I tried over the counter through like the health food store.
Black cohosh.
So
did you ever try that?
Yes,
I remember being
black
told about
cohosh.
that. Yeah.
So I went to my chiropractor.
Which is interesting that your chiropractor could help you with menopause symptoms.
My chiropractor, an amazing thing. He believes in all holistic. He's very into the holistic way of doing things because, your spine has a lot to do with how your body reacts to things. And so if you get adjusted...
I'm sitting up straighter now.
I know. But if you get adjusted, that it helps in everything everywhere else.
Wow.
And so he was the one that, turned me on to this product. Because I told it, because I feel I have a real comfortable relationship with Dr. George that I can tell him, hey, because that's what they can do. If you have cramps, he can relieve that because of the adjusting in your back. And so I was just telling him, I go, this is ridiculous. I go, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how this is going to get fixed.
And he said,
oh, Maridee, I have this product you need to try. I said, really? He goes, it's an all-natural product made from a potato.
Made from a potato?
Yeah. I went, okay.
That's amazing. What is this? Gosh, it sounds like a miracle.
Well, it was Dr. George who told me that this product. He goes, Maridee, it's a natural product. It's made, like I said, made from a potato. He goes, you take it sublingual underneath your tongue at night. He goes, but I want you to take it because it's going to take about 2 to 3 months. He said, because that's how natural products work. You need to get them into your system so they start working effectively.
I think that's very, very important because we have to give it time to work. So so when did you start this?
I started it, I want to say, roughly at the end of March.
So, 6 months ago? 4 months ago?
No, because about 4 months ago, yeah.
Okay, we can't count.
I can't count, yeah. But the end of March, and what was interesting about this, about taking it, I took some other things along with it just to keep me, until that one kicked in.
Okay.
And
so how are you feeling with all of that stuff in you? What all were you taking? Just some other supplements?
Just another supplement.
Okay.
And that was in my thyroid, so I started taking some, products for
Natural
products for those.
So today, are you just on the one product?
I'm just on the one.
And what is that product?
It is called 10 to 2.
Maridee, when did you notice the effects? As soon as you started taking it, what happened, say, immediately? Anything?
Within about a week, I noticed the one thing I noticed is I slept better. And that was one thing that I was struggling with because I would get up and down because it was just hot. But that was what it was. And then I would say about 2 months in is when I started to feel like, oh, I'm not getting a hot flash every 4 hours or every 30 minutes. Because sometimes I would get them every, hour or so. And then I'd be sitting in church and going, okay, this is ridiculous.
And everybody would know, hot flash.
Girlfriends over here going, okay, we're suffering together. But no, other than that, and then I'd say about the end of June is when I noticed the biggest change, is that going, oh, I'm not having hot flashes like I used to at all.
So has anyone at church noticed?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm not fanning myself. This is the cutest thing. I sit behind the second row sometimes, and I wear bracelets. Well, I would be fanning myself, and they'd be going, Maridee's back there fanning herself. They can feel it. You can hear it. Now I don't have to.
The church service is quiet. Oh, well, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
So, yes.
Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm. So it's the best. It's the product that I will recommend to everyone just because it's worked so well for me.
Well, after a couple of months, did you feel any different? Or?
My energy came back. I'm able to, I was never a late bird anyway. I was always getting up real early, but I can stay up late now without feeling like I'm lagging in the morning. Also, my sex drive, God bless America, has come back.
Good for you. Love hearing that.
Yeah. And
wow.
And I've noticed that my skin tone has changed. It's been amazing. And the hot flashes have basically dissipated. Okay. Maybe I get one every here and there.
I was just going to ask you about that. So any other symptoms that still maybe exist after 4 months that might eventually go away?
The weight.
Okay.
But that is something that's something that you just have to go through, I think. A lot of it, you can try a lot of things. I've been able to maintain my weight, which has been a dream because I thought for sure I was going to just balloon. But I have felt that the puffiness has gone down, the swelling has gone down more so.
Okay. Now, is your sister taking this?
Not yet.
What are you waiting for? I'm sure that's what she said.
Because I wanted to make sure that it worked for me before I gave it to her, and not, because, you don't want to waste money on products that aren't going to work. And so I started taking this, and now I can't get enough of it. I wanted, I doubled up on. So I told her I would do this. I would take one and give it to her and let her try.
Wow, but she's still suffering through the symptoms.
Right, but she lives in Colorado, so that's the other thing, is having to ship it to her. So I'm going to give it to her, and she, told me after today she goes.
She has to.
No, yeah, absolutely. She has to try. Oh yeah.
So your doctor, was it Dr. George?
Hugabeen.
He's going to get Googled.
Mm-hmm.
So Dr. George must feel really good then about what you're going through.
Yes. I told him, I said, it's an amazing product. It works.
It's tough to endorse a product, though, because maybe what works for you may not work for someone else.
Yes. But all I can go on is how it works for me. I can't, and all I can do is, if it works for me, why not share it and just say, hey, anything's a risk. It's like when you try anything. I can't guarantee it's going to work for you, but I'm not telling you it's going to work for you. I'm just saying, I know it worked for me, so why not take a try? What's the worst thing you can do? Not work?
Right. And when it's all natural, you don't feel bad.
Right. You're not taking a drug, you're not taking a synthetic, you're taking a natural product.
Wow. So how has it changed your life? Because, you were kind of specific, but just in general.
I feel better. I just feel better. I feel, lack of a better word, happy. It just makes me feel, I got something. I look forward to taking it every night, knowing what it does.
Wow. So have you told your friends about it, too?
Oh, yes.
So what do they say? If people are going through this?
Well, it's kind of funny because I'm a late bloomer in that regard. A lot of the women have already gone through it, their process. But those that I know that are, I've told them about it and told them that, you need to research it for yourself, and then, here's the website.
Well, and something we'll have to, I want to discuss further at some point. I've already gone through it.
Right.
I was one of those that you hate because I really didn't know. It just kind of stopped and it was
Yeah.
done. But that said, every now and then I will be, I'll wake up and I just have that flush feel, just that weird flush. And I asked my gynecologist, who kind of wanted me to use some other things, but I said, no, I don't need that. And then I told him about this flush, and he goes, well, a woman's body really is like a volcano. Even though you've gone through menopause or you've gone through the change, there are still going to be some hormonal things that kind of make yourself crazy. So I'm wondering, I'm going to have to research this to see if 10 to 2 is not something that I could possibly benefit from, just because it's all natural and it'll help my skin and maybe help some.
To me, it's an
anti-aging.
all-natural product that even if you aren't going through the menopause or the change, it can't not help you with your skin. It also is a product that helps with anti-aging. So,
And you've told your daughters about it.
oh yes.
So they probably want to go ahead and stock up just whenever it's time, right?
Yeah, hopefully not for a while. They're young still, so.
Of course. So what does your husband say now? Does he want to buy stock in this product or something, you think?
It was so funny because he's like, oh, thank God she's back. But it was so funny because he sees a change. He sees the difference. He sees that I'm, more apt to be involved, to have that time with him, that intimacy with him. And it's not like, oh my gosh, a dread because of where I was. But now it is. So I look forward to it too.
It's only been 4 months. We're going to have to see what you're like in 8 months, in a year.
I can't wait.
See, and again, I just keep thinking, it's not going to hurt.
Nope.
And when you're at that point, you're at a breaking point.
Right. A lot of women get to that point where they're like, I got to try something. I got to, I want my life back the way it was.
What do you think is the biggest myth about menopause that we can put to rest today?
That, it's something you just have to go through. That you got to just, endure it and not go, okay, what's the word I want? Enjoy your life. That, oh my gosh, these symptoms are going to be, I'm going to have this for the rest of my life. I'm going to be that kind of way. No, you don't have to.
So it's important to talk about it.
Right.
Talk about it with everyone. Talk about it with your friends. Do your due diligence, research.
Right.
And then look for 10 to 2.
Right.
I like that. I love the name.
I know, 10 to 2.
That's right.
Dial me down.
I like it. Well, I'll tell you what. I think maybe we've changed a little bit about going through the change today, don't you think?
I do.
I say, here's to not your mother's menopause. What do you say?
Stay cool.
I like that. Thanks, Maridee.